Good evening and welcome to Primetime News here on TV1. I am Disal Kapuge for News First, where we are and always will be with the people. Now, before we take a look at our stories in detail for tonight, let's first take a look at the headlines.
Trade unions and political parties meet to hold discussions on saving the Employees' Provident Fund. We cannot take the country forward by flouting conditions of the IMF. A statement from Minister Bandula. Over 290,000 adversely affected by the arid weather. Drinking water cannot be provided to over 130,000. Several water projects in the south in crisis. 30,000 families affected. Gammetta launches a water project for residents of Ukulankulama, Anuradhapura. Central Bank issues order to reduce interest rates.
Now, in your top story, the leader of the Jatika Janabala Vege, Anrukumara Dissanayake, expressed these views on the Indian projects that are to be implemented in the country.
A program named the Freedom Struggle Against the Foreign Dependent Rule was organized by the National Bhikkhu Front in Colombo today. A group including the leader of the JJB, Anrukumara Dissanayake, attended the event. The rulers are afraid that the clergy will intervene to change this situation. Therefore, we can see that they are creating opinions that will suppress venerable theros and not allow them to go on the street. Creating a government of the people is the only way to stop the people from criticizing the Sangha. There is no other way that this can be solved. Since 1956, we requested for the Sangha Katikavada to be given legal powers. They have not done that. They leave room to use the saffron rope to cover up their dirty policies in the interest of being in power. And they are not allowing these things to proceed. Even this will have to be done under a government of the people. Today they are only giving employment to their party supporters. We need a government that will give employment to all citizens. Land is being given to their party supporters. We need a government that will give land to all the citizens of the country. We want a government that will do right by everyone. Every president is identified by their political party, but we need a president of this country. A project to construct power lines between India and Sri Lanka is being implemented. An oil pipeline and a gas pipeline between Sri Lanka and India is to be implemented. In trade transactions between Sri Lanka and India, India uses rupees, thus building a relationship between Sri Lanka and India through currencies. Next is a land bridge, a ferry service from Batticaloa to Trincomalee, an air service from Batticaloa and Trincomalee to Chennai. Just like before, now we have another struggle to protect our sovereignty. Is that not so, Venerable Thero? Today we have lost our sovereignty and are left with many helpless people. Why is that? Our country cannot move forward by being a colony of the West and financial institutions.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa spoke about the vulnerable state that Sri Lanka is currently in.
As a country, we are in a very vulnerable position. We are vulnerable in every possible way, be it politics, security, geopolitics, health, education, agriculture. We are vulnerable. At a time when the country is so vulnerable, the rulers have made our country a playground for the rich and powerful. The country has become a land of auctions. Powerful vultures are waiting to snatch their share from our country. In a government without a mandate, the rulers themselves are in a vulnerable state. Why is it so? They do not have the strength of the people. There is no public mandate. There is no public blessing. They are breaking up our country into pieces and auctioning it off to various powerful people.
The leader of the opposition expressed these remarks during the ceremony of enshrining the relics and unveiling of the kota at the Narandiniya Sri Nagavanarama Purana Vihara.
Well, these views about the situation of the country were expressed. The Balamandala meeting of the governing SLPP party was held in Puttlam today. Parliamentarian Janaka Tissakuttiarachchi expressed these views at the event.
Anura,
I have 3 challenges for you. It is alright if you did not see the golden horse of Namal Rajapaksha. If you can show me a photograph of Namal Rajapaksha's golden horse, I will resign from my parliamentary seat. I dare you to show me a photograph. Next, I challenge you to show me a photo of the 18 Lamborghinis that Namal Rajapaksha had. He said he saw that they were being unloaded. 3 months later, he says he didn't see anything as such. If you show one photograph of these Lamborghinis, Tissakuttiarachchi will leave his parliamentary seat. Next, he said that 18 billion was stashed away in Uganda by the Rajapakshas. If Anurukumar Dissanayake shows one account that contains $1 out of those funds, saying that this is Basil's, Namal's or Mahinda's account, that will be the day that Tissakuttiarachchi leaves parliament.
Representatives of free trade zone trade unions met political parties today and handed over letters to them submitted against the effects that the domestic debt restructuring program will have on the employees of the Employee Provident Fund.
Textile trade unions attached to the free trade zone trade unions handed over letters to political parties requesting them not to support the looting of the Employee Provident Fund and the government's unfair decisions. Representatives of the trade union visited the party headquarters at the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna after having previously booked an appointment to meet a representative of that party at a specified time. However, there was no responsible official of the party present at the SLPP party headquarters to accept the letters.
අපි දෙය දැනුවත් කළ තමයි මේ ඉන්නේ. ඒතර මේක මේ රටේ බරපතල ප්‍රශ්නයක් පෞද්ගලිකවන්සේ ආතසාධකම් මුදලේ මංකොල්ල කන්නේ යනවා. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉන්න හැම ඇමතිවරයෙකුට මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙකුට පක්ෂ කාර්යාල වලට ගිහිල්ලා අද දවසේ මේ ලියුම් බෙදාගෙන යනවා. එතකොට පක්ෂයේ විදිහට ඒක බාර ගන්න කවුරුවත් නැත්නම් ඒක ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක්නේ පක්ෂයක් විදිහට. නෑ අපි නෑ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඉන්ෆෝම් කරන්නවත් බැරිද? රිසෙප්ෂන් එකට හරි කවුරු ඉන්නවද? මේ ලියුම් ටික බාර දෙන්න අපිට ආයෙ එන්න බෑ.
අපි තීන්දුවක් ගමු අපි ආයෙත් බාර දෙන්න. මෙතන බාර ගන්න කෙනෙක් නැහැ, වස්තුවේ පුද්ගලයෙක් නැහැ. අපි අපේ මෙතන තියලා යන්න.
ආයෙත් එක මේ තියෙන මේ
There are thousands of letters here, but when we came here, there is nobody here at all. This is a sad situation. Because there is nobody to accept these letters, we will leave these letters here and leave.
The group arrived at the party headquarters of the Jatika Janabalawege and submitted letters to the General Secretary of the party, Specialist Dr. Nihala Singha.
We are against the superannuation funds being robbed. We will demonstrate our protest against this on the 28th opposite the Fort railway station.
The Jatika Janabalawege is doing its best to oppose the government on their decisions regarding this. In the future sittings of Parliament, the JJP's MPs will reflect their sentiments on this as well. We as the Jatika Janabalawege hope to take all possible action against these unjust decisions of the government. Minister of Mass Media, Transport and Highways Bandulu Gunawardena emphasized that the country cannot be taken forward if the conditions of the IMF are not met. So no matter how many times the government or president or leaders of this country changes, by 2048 we will not be able to get rid of this debt that we have right now. That is why the government is trying so hard to implement this foreign debt restructuring. If we do not restructure this debt, we will not be able to bring in petroleum to the country. We won't be able to import fertilizer, chemicals or gas. We won't be able to import necessities like food or drink to the country, or even necessary machineries or equipment. No matter who takes over the country, it will shut down in a few months because internationally we are considered to be a country that is bankrupt and unable to perform international transactions. None of the other countries will be willing to accept Sri Lanka's letter of credit. A new fuel station of the Lanka IOC company was declared open in Trincomalee today by Minister of State for Investment Promotion Dilum Amunagama. Managing Director of the IOC company Deepak Das also attended this event. In the future, the main type of fuel will not be oil but green hydrogen. In order to produce hydrogen, you need sunlight and wind that is abundant in this region. That energy needs to be merged with water to create hydrogen. In order to facilitate this, we are making the Trincomalee zone a green energy hub. This zone will receive a lot of investment in the future. In a simpler sense, an area with green hydrogen will be like areas with oil in the future. That is our goal. If the economy is stable and the investments are coming in, the question on whether we need a new pilot to lead the country arises. Some say that if the current pilot is good enough, let's go ahead with him. The current pilot seems good. President Ranil Wickremesinghe, who participated in the recently held Trincomalee District Development Committee meeting, said that Trincomalee will be developed as an economic hub with the support of the Indian government. The president said that the eastern province will be fully developed through a great development project similar to the Mahavali Development Project. President Ranil Wickremesinghe announced that a 1,000-acre investment zone will be created under the Trincomalee District Development Program during a business meeting held in Arukambe yesterday. We would like to ask who in the country knows about the agreement, who gave Ranil Wickremesinghe the authority to enter into such an agreement. The agreement has not been presented to the cabinet. That agreement has not been presented to the parliament. No one in this country knows about that agreement. Ranil Wickremesinghe needs to understand the extent of his mandate. It is clear that President Ranil Wickremesinghe has no right to destroy everything as he pleases.
Stay with us for more detailed stories as we go for a short commercial break.
The country is clearly in a big fix. The question is, what is the fix? People tend to quickly focus on the economy, but I think that the problems are greater than the economy.
Though there are no gas queues or other queues, our economy has collapsed because of the collapse of the domestic production.
Actually, if you look at the rural side, the ordinary masses of the country, there are a lot of grave issues.
I think the government has done everything possible to ruin the future of even the rural community, who otherwise almost live a life that is self-sufficient in their own regions.
Thinking about the people's grievances, if there is such a government, the government can give the priority to the farmers.
It's a bits and pieces government. That is how I would put it. I don't think it's a fully functional government. It's just a bits and pieces government of individuals who support the president, from various political backgrounds. I wouldn't say parties.
Face the Nation, Wednesday nights at 9:30 on TV1.
You see, we have had a very backward utility towards renewable energy.
But during these 8 years, they spent billions of money to buy energy from the private sectors without spending that emergency power purchase, without spending that few million rupees, and to sort out this issue.
The entire world is moving towards renewables,
right?
And there is no choice in the matter,
right?
Because we don't have dollars.
You have the most devious minds trying to outmaneuver the other. And, it's just ironic that whom has Ranil chosen as his instrument to break up the NPP.
I think these politicians are not aware of what is restructuring and reviving of business, or maybe rehabilitation of business. They think the reforms and the restructuring is giving 150 petrol distribution stations to maybe another company.
Newsline, Monday to Friday at 8:30 p.m. on TV1.
Ladies College presents a musical phenomenon, SOSL Pops, a performance by the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka, conducted by Nishanta Varnakulasurya, September 2nd and 3rd at the Ladies College Hall, featuring the Ladies College Senior and OGA choirs, with guest soloists Crisanta De Silva, Dinushka Jayavikrama, and Melanie Bibile. Tickets available in the school hall foyer. Media sponsor Yes 101, Legends 966 and TV1.
And welcome back to the news. The number of people affected by dry weather has increased to 291,720. The Disaster Management Center stated that 19 districts have been affected by dry weather. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board points out Due to the dry weather, there have been obstacles in releasing water to more than 31,000 water distribution networks in the island. It is in this backdrop that the work of the Ranna Kattakadua water purification plant, which supplies water to 14,000 families from Ranna to Tangol, was stopped yesterday.
Why did the activities at the Ranna Kattakadua Water Purification Centre come to a standstill?
The Ranna Kattakadua Water Purification Centre that provides water to 14,000 families from Ranna to Tangol came to a standstill yesterday morning as the water in the Kattakadua reservoir had dried up. This reservoir supplies water to 20 villages. However, although water was directed from the Chandrika Vavar to the Kattakadua reservoir yesterday with the intervention of the authorities and under police protection, the reservoir had not reached a sufficient amount of water by the evening.
Why was police protection deployed at the canal?
Police Special Task Force officers have been deployed for the security of the 31-kilometer long canal that supplies water from Chandrika Vavar to the Kattakadua reservoir, as farmers have taken matters to their own hands by breaking the sluices and trying to take water to their farmlands.
කට්ටකඩුවේ ජලාශයෙන් පවුල් 14000ක් වගේ වතුර පානය කරනවා. ඉතින් ඒ අයට ඇත්තටම ඉතාමත් අපහසුතාවයකට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ අවස්ථාව වෙනකොට ජලය නැතුව. මේ දැන් ඊයේ ඉඳලම ඇත්තටම වතුර බිඳුවක්වත් එන්නේ නැහැ මේ වතුර නාන්න නැහැ අපිට බොන්න නැහැ දෙඩි කෑල්ල හොද ගන්න නැහැ ටොයිලට් එකකටවත් ගෙනියන්න වතුර නැහැ මේ දවස්වල ඒ තරම් අපහසුතාවයේ ඉන්නේ.
What are the other drinking water projects in the south that are currently facing the water crisis?
The Eraminiaya Vavar, which receives water from the Chandrika Vavar, has also dried up. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board stated that this has caused severe issues in supplying water to the Agunukola Palassa area. Kattakadua and Eraminiaya Vavars, which supply water to Ranna and Agunukola Palassa areas, are fed by the Chandrika Vavar, and the Chandrika Vavar is fed by the Udavalava reservoir, which faced a lot of controversial issues related to water supply in the past. The Deputy General Manager of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board stated that the continuous water supply to Tangol and Beliatta water supply projects, which get water from the Kirama Oya, is also interrupted from time to time due to the closure of the sluices of the upper part of the Kirama Oya by the farmers. However, yesterday, with the intervention of the Irrigation Department, the sluices were opened and the water supply of the stream was restored. The Water Board said with the dry weather, there have been obstacles in releasing water to more than 35,000 water supply networks in the southern province alone. Meanwhile, Ms. Anuja Kaluarachi said, due to the drying up of the Daduru Oya, water supply has been disrupted in many areas of the Kurunegala district. The people of the Nagansole village of the Rasnaikapura area in Kurunegala are also suffering due to the lack of clean drinking water. About 200 families live in the village and parents have to bring water from far away and fill the tanks to provide water for the school children.
මේ දරුවන්ට පානීය ජලය සහ වැසිකිලි පාසුකම් සඳහා කිසිම විදියකින් වතුර නැහැ. දැන් කිසිම තැනක ලිඳකින් වතුර ගන්න විදියක් නැහැ. සියලු ලින් හිඳිලා ගිහලා මාරයි.
වතුර ලීටරයක් රුපියල් 5ක් වෙනවා. ඒ උනත් අපිට මුදල් මේ අවශ්‍යතාවය සපුර ගන්නත් මේ දවස්වල ආර්ථික ප්‍රශ්න ගොඩක් වැඩි.
The people of the villages of Panduwasnuwara, Hettipola, Munamaldeniya, Morogolla, Megaspitiya, Kotambapitiya and Kosdeniya are also affected by water shortage. The villagers stated although water was provided by the Panduwasnuwara Pradesh Sabha, it was not enough.
වතුරෙන් තමයි අපි තෑහෙන්න දුක් විඳින්න පීඩාවට පත් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ වතුරෙන්. ලොකු පිනක් ඇත්තෙම වතුර ටිකක් අපිට තම දෙනවා නම්.
Due to the scarcity of water, not only the people but animals are also suffering. The people involved in managing cattle herds in the Kalatua village in Vallava said providing water for their cattle has become a very difficult task.
කණ්ඩ දෙන්න නැහැ. තනකොළ ගහක් නැහැ, වතුර නැහැ. හරක් දැන් මැරෙන්නේ නැති වෙන්න හදාගෙන ඉන්න බොහොම අමාරුයි. පේනවනේ සත්තුන්ගේ හැටි.
නියගේ හින්දා අපි කිරි හොඳට අඩු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් සමහර සත්තුන්ගේ කිරි ගන්නෙම නෑ අතහැරලා දාලා තියෙන්නේ. තනකොළ වතුර කිසිම දෙයක් නෑ. ඔක්කොම වැව් ඔක්කොම හිඳිලා ලිනුත් හිඳිලා. ඒකයි ඉතින් සත්තු සමහරු මැරිලා හිට යනවා. කෑම අඩුයි වතුර අඩුයි.
The people of Nuwaragalathanna area of Mahaoya in Ampara are severely affected by the lack of drinking water. The villagers said they do not have water even for sanitation purposes.
ලින් එහෙම ඔක්කොම හින්දිලා වැව් ඔක්කොම හින්දිලා තියෙන මහත්තයෝ අපිට බොණ්ඩ වතුර තමයි නැත්තේ. টয়ලට් වලට අපිට වතුර නෑ ඇත්තටම. මේ අපි නාන්න කිලෝමීටර් ගාණක් යනවා.
දැන් අවුරුදු ගාණක් තිස්සේ අපි දන්න කට්ටියට කිව්වා බලධාරීන්ට කිව්වා වතුර හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. කබලෙන් ලිපෙට වැටුණා. දැන් ලිපෙන් වැටෙන්න දැනකුත් නැතුව අපි ඉන්නේ.
The people of the Galagedihena village in Digana, Kandy only receive water once a week. The villagers say this has also been limited to a couple of hours.
සතියකට එකයි දෙන්නේ වතුර. ඒකත් උඩ කන්දට එන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ඉන්නේ කන්දක. ඉරිදා දවසක විතරයි සර් අපිට වතුර දෙන්නේ. එතකොට අපි කොහොමද ජීවත් වෙන්නේ? අපි
සති දෙකක් තුනක් සති හතරක් විතර සමහරක් දවස්වලට වතුර එවන්නේ නැහැ. වීල් එකට විතර 350ක් ගන්නවා නාලා ආපහු එන්න විතරක්.
පැය 27 අපි වතුර ඉල්ලන්නේ නැහැ. සතියට දවස් 3ක් අපිට වතුර ටික ඕන. මොනවා කරත් මොනවා වුණත් අපි වතුර බිල් ගෙවනවා.
Hundreds of thousands of people are suffering due to the arid weather conditions that have swept across the island. However, the lack of water is not just a seasonal issue to the villagers in the Ukkulankulam area in Anuradhapura. These people have no clean drinking water all 365 days of the year. But today, Gammadda took steps to change that story forever.
The Ukkulankulama Vidyalaya in Mihintale provides education to less than 100 underprivileged students. These students, who learn amidst many hardships, as well as their parents who toil day and night, do not have access to clean drinking water. To find clean drinking water, they must journey to the Mihintale town or to the Rambava town. What makes matters worse is the fact that the water that these people drink to quench their thirst is also slowly killing them. The water that they consume causes kidney disease.
This is the brackish water that we use. This is what we drink.
Several of these villagers who went in search of water have even lost their lives due to wild elephant attacks. Due to this, some villagers have resorted to purchase water from lorries that come to the village. But not many in the village can afford this. Gammadda identified this issue and went to the aid of the students of the Ukkulankulama Vidyalaya to provide them with clean drinking water. The laying of the foundation stone for the clean drinking water project was carried out while the chanting of Pirith was being led by the chief incumbent of the Mihintale Rajamahaviharaya, Venerable Dr. Vallava Hanguna Vave Dhammaratana Thera and the Mahasangha.
This project is not conducted with the hope of getting any profit in the future. Gammadda has come to the village as a blessing to do the things that the government and the rulers of the country should do. We deeply appreciate this example that is set by Gammadda.
News First News Director Gayan Sampath Somachandra and the General Secretary of Gammadda Prasanna Thukorala were among those present at the event. This event was also graced by the presence of the Divisional Secretary of Mihintale Anuruddhanayaka Bandara, the Chief Inspector of the Mihintale Police Station S. Chandrasiri Ranjit, Lieutenant Commander Dushanta Sirimevan on behalf of the Navy, Mihintale Divisional Education Director Bilki Malsha Patirana, Mihintale Primary Education Director Gamini Pushpakumara, Mihintale Public Health Inspector Manava Tilakaratna, Mihintale Regional Council Secretary P. Vijay Singha, Principal of the Ukkulankulama Vidyalaya Gamini Tennakon, Vice Principal Rohini Senaviratna, the Gramaniladari of the Tulana 588 Division Indrani Kumarasinghe, Development Officer Piyumi Dunuke Golla and several other government officials. A beautiful performance by the students of the Ukkulankulama Vidyalaya added colour to the event. The Divisional Secretary of Mihintalaya highlighted the importance of Gammada.
I don't know if you would believe me, but I have been here for 1 year, but I haven't drunk water from here. That is because I too am afraid of what might happen if my kidneys get infected. Even my father lost his kidney after working in this land. I'm very enthusiastic about this Gammada program because it will benefit not only the people of the Ukkuwankulama village but also the people who pass by this area.
News Director of News First, Gayan Sampath Somachandra, spoke about the driving force behind Gammada.
අපිට තියෙන එකම ශක්තිය අම්මේ තාත්තේ ඔබමයි මේ රටේ ජනතාවම අපි විශ්වාස කළා ජනතාව ඉන්නේ අපිත් එක්ක කියලා.
The only strength we have is the people of this country. We believed that the people were with us. What we believed was right. You all are with us. That is why we were able to see this school that is often overlooked and provide clean water to these children. They say that our country is bankrupt. No matter which program you watch, that is what they say. What do we lack? Despite all these issues, they are saying that we do not need to import rice because we have harvested enough this season. So how are we bankrupt? They didn't wait around for water. The farmers of this country continued harvesting. They haven't left this land hungry. So how do we qualify to be a bankrupt nation? Bankruptcy doesn't mean just money. The way we can go forward is by using our knowledge and strength. The reason these farmers were able to harvest this much despite these barriers is because of their knowledge and strength. Let's fill our kids with knowledge. They can't take our knowledge away from us. The reason we have become bankrupt is because we weren't aware of the strengths we have.
මේ කන්නේ මෙච්චර දුෂ්කරතා මැද්දේ වගා කරේ මෙච්චර දුෂ්කරතා මැද්දේ වගා කරේ අපි මේ දරුවන්ට උගන්වමු මොනවා බංකොලොත් තුනක් දැනුව බංකොලොත් කරන්න කාටවත් බෑ ඒක තමයි අපිට තියෙන ශක්තිය අපි බංකොලොත්ද අපි බංකොලොත් වෙලා තියෙන එක කාරණයක් හින්දා අපිට තියෙන ශක්තිය අපි අවබෝධ කරගන්නේ.
Funding for this project was provided by a magnanimous donor close to Gammada who wishes to remain anonymous. The project is being constructed with the technical support of the Sri Lankan Navy on the advice of the Renal Disease Prevention Unit of the Ministry of Health. Gammada hopes to bring an end to this water crisis for future generations and complete the project to quench the thirst of the residents of Ukkuwankulama as well as the children of the school as soon as possible.
News First with the people.
The central bank has issued an order requiring all licensed banks to lower their interest rates with effect from the 25th of August 2023. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Simbalapitiya expressed his views on the matter.
The usual charge for the mortgage loan is 18%. Similarly, IRA interest rates are 23% and credit cards are 28%. So the central bank has set a circular for all licensed banks. Going forward, banks can only set interest rates that are within that range. Additionally, the central bank is also of the hope that the current interest rates will be revised accordingly.
The Central Crime Branch, also known as CCB in Bengaluru of India, have arrested 2 more people in connection with the case of 3 Sri Lankan nationals wanted for multiple murders in Sri Lanka.
The Hindu reports that the Central Crime Branch, the CCB, in Bengaluru, India has arrested 2 more people in connection with the case of 3 Sri Lankan nationals wanted for multiple murders in Sri Lanka. The suspect arrested, Mansoor and Anbazagan, are accused of helping the Sri Lankan nationals flee the country. Foreign media reported that the CCB had earlier arrested Jai Paramesh, who was sheltering the 3 Sri Lankan nationals in a flat in Yelahanka, a suburb of the Bangalore urban district. It was reported that Paramesh had told Indian police that he was working for Jalal, alias Siddiq, a Sri Lankan national who is the kingpin of the crime syndicate. Jalal is also wanted in Sri Lanka for multiple murders. The Hindu reports that investigations have revealed that Mansoor, one of the 2 that was arrested in this regard, was tasked with providing the Sri Lankan nationals with 50 lakhs Indian rupees for their journey to Nepal, and the other arrested suspect, Anbazagan, was tasked with creating fake passports for them. The Central Crime Branch, the CCB, is now trying to track down Jalal, who is suspected to be based in Oman.
The Moot Court Bench, also known as MCB, hosted the second edition of the world's first international investor-state mediation competition in Colombo.
The Moot Court Bench hosted the second edition of the world's first international investor-state mediation competition IIMC Colombo 2023, which is being held from the 21st of August to the 27th of August 2023 in Colombo. The event was supported by key international organizations such as the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law, Regional Center for Asia and the Pacific, the International Center for the Settlement of Investment Disputes, the International Mediation Institute, the Hong Kong International Arbitration Center and other local entities.
So with Sri Lanka recovering from the economic crisis and as we open the country for investors, it is also important that we look into investor-state disputes and what we do at the MCB.
I'm from the University of Vienna. It was a great experience and we are super happy that we made it to the finals. We don't know how it's going to end, but we think we have good chances and we are super excited.
Over 100 students and professionals from almost 15 countries participated in the event, which included networking sessions, panel discussions and other educational elements.
The 26th of August is reserved to celebrate man's best friend. Today marks International Dog Day. No one can win hearts like man's best friend, and in honor of this bond between man and canine, International Dog Day is celebrated. International Dog Day 2023 marks a special occasion to celebrate the love, loyalty and companionship that dogs bring to our lives. This day was first celebrated in the mid-2000s and since then it has gained popularity all over the world. Observed annually on the 26th of August, this holiday honors dogs of all breeds and recognizes the important role they play in our lives. Whether it's as a loyal companion, a service animal, a police dog, or a rescue dog, dogs have been a part of human history for centuries. They provide us with unconditional love and make our lives fuller and more joyful. International Dog Day is a day that aims to encourage people to adopt dogs from shelters rather than buying them from breeders. This is because there are millions of dogs in shelters waiting for a loving home, and adopting them can save their lives. Another aim of this day is to raise awareness about animal cruelty and to encourage people to report any cases of abuse or neglect. Sri Lanka Navy seized about 792 kilograms of smuggled kendu leaves in Thillayadi of Puttlam this morning.
The seizure was made during a special operation by SLNS Tambapani in the Northwestern Naval Command. The search operation led to the discovery of 23 packages of kendu leaves that had been left behind at the beach. The kendu leaves are a valuable commodity and are often smuggled out of the country for illegal sale. The Navy's seizure of these leaves is a significant blow to the smuggling trade. The kendu leaves have been taken into the Navy's safe custody and will be handed over to the authorities for further investigation and legal action.
The second leg of the LOLC Divisavya program continued for the 15th day today. The program took place centering the Puttlam and Chilau educational zones in the Puttlam district. The LOLC Divisavya program aims to support school students across Sri Lanka. The second leg of the LOLC Divisavya focuses on government schools with less than 100 students. The program took place centering the Puttlam and Chilau educational zones in the Puttlam district. Accordingly, exercise books and school equipment were distributed for students in the Thalavila Valla Junior School, Pahala Valahapitiya Dharmaraja Junior School, Maranda Valla Primary School, Putala Kemiyawa Junior School and Kandathaba Junior School. Books and stationery items were also distributed to students at the Puttlam Zonal Education Office. This worthy initiative is carried out by the LOLC group with the support of the Ministry of Education. The military government of Niger has asked the French ambassador to leave the country within 48 hours, escalating the international crisis in the West African nation after a coup that deposed the democratically elected president. The letter, which cited actions of the French government contrary to the interests of Niger as one of the reasons for the expulsion, was sent on Friday. France's foreign ministry said the coup leaders had no authority to ask its ambassador to leave. Niger's military government also authorized troops from neighboring Mali and Burkina Faso to come to its defense, raising the stakes in a standoff with other West African nations threatening force to reinstate the country's elected president. The coup has been met with widespread international condemnation, and the Economic Community of West African States has suspended Niger's membership and imposed sanctions. The crisis in Niger is the latest in a series of coups in West Africa and has raised concerns about the region's democratic stability. Now for some news from India. 10 people were killed and over 20 were injured after a fire broke out in a tourist train parked on Bodhi Lane near Madurai railway station in India.
10 people were killed and over 20 were injured after a fire broke out in a tourist train parked in the Bodhi Lane near Madurai railway station in India in the early hours of Saturday. Foreign media reported that the bodies have been shifted to the government Rajaji hospital in Madurai and rescue operations is underway. Indian media reported, quoting local police, that the fire broke out when a passenger lit a gas stove to make coffee. The chief public relations officer for Indian Southern Railways says that the passengers in the private party coach had illegally smuggled a gas cylinder which caused the fire.
Royal College wrapped their 2023 rugby season with a clinical win against traditional rival St Thomas's College, retaining the Michael Gunaratne Trophy in the process.
St Thomas's came out of the gates looking the better side, but the Royalists grew into the game as the minutes ticked on. The Thombians opened the scoring with a penalty, but Royal responded with some brilliant play, with their quintessential rolling maul doing the damage. St Thomas's were presented another penalty in the second half, but were unable to register any tries, while the Royalists registered 4 tries and converted 3 of them. The Royalists won the match 26-6.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News here on TV1. As always, thank you for watching. Stay safe, take care, and have a good night.